Hi everyone, it's Dana LaVoie here. I am so psyched that you guys are here. Definitely hit the thumbs up and post in the comments to let me know if you can see me and hear me okay. Looks like my volume bar is woo woo. So I think we're all right. I'm so happy to be here with you today. And of course, if you have questions, put them in the comments. They will pop up on my screen and I would love to answer them for you. So my name is Dana LaVoie, in case you don't know me. I am an acupuncturist and herbalist. I have been working in women's health for about 14, 15 years now, and I specialize in helping women through menopause easily and naturally, preparing for menopause, relieving symptoms of menopause, and staying healthy after menopause. And I do this by showing them how to use diet, lifestyle, and supplements as natural remedies for menopause. So today we are talking about something that is so close to my heart. That is one of my favorite things in the world. So I'm really excited about it. It is related to a video that I posted on my blog last week, which was an introduction to differentiations. And on the video, I subtitled it, "What is a differentiation and why should I care?" And in the video, I talk about what it means. What it is that Chinese medicine has this way of taking every person with a symptom or an issue and doing what we call a differentiation on them. So the idea is that you could have 5 people with the same symptoms. Like you could have 5 people with hot flashes, and they all actually have a different differentiation. They have the same symptom, but they might have a different underlying cause or a different combination of underlying imbalances that are causing that symptom. And that's what a differentiation is. It's figuring out like, which version of menopause do you have? Which version of this symptom do you have? And once you know that underlying cause, you can decide which herbs and other techniques to use to get the most relief, the fastest and the most efficiently way possible. And Chinese medicine is one of the only systems that really does that, and that does this in such an in-depth way with menopause in particular. So I'm really excited about sharing this with you guys. So if you didn't see that video, that introductory video, I'm going to post the link below this video for sure. So definitely check it out. And today what I want to do is, now that you kind of know what a differentiation is, I want to talk a little bit about what are the different Chinese medicine differentiations for menopause so that you can understand menopause better. Where does your menopause fit into the menopause spectrum, and how can that help you get relief? And before I dive in, I also wanted to let you know that next week on the Facebook, when I go live on Facebook, I'm going to be doing a Q&A. So one of the questions that I get asked the most is, how can I get more sleep during menopause? And that is the question I am going to be answering next week. I've got a whole bunch of material I've been putting together. So if that is something that you're interested in, be sure and tune in or catch the recording of next week's live recording, because we're going to be talking all about ways to get more sleep during menopause. And in the meantime, be sure to like this video, share it with your friends. If you're having any trouble seeing or hearing me, let me know, post it in the comments, and otherwise definitely jump in with any questions. All right, so now I want to jump into what are some of the different differentiations of menopause in Chinese medicine. Okay, so this is one of the ways that I help match women up with the best natural remedies for menopause for them. And Chinese medicine is such a great guide here because it has already figured out all these different styles of menopause. And I want to start right at the beginning with perimenopause, or even before perimenopause. So the very beginning of perimenopause, or even before you hit menopause. Before you hit menopause, say you're in your early to mid 30s and you're not in perimenopause yet at all, which can start around 38 for some women. My main goal is usually to replenish everything. Make sure all your energies and energy reserves and substances are filled up. Your reserve tanks are full. In Chinese medicine, it would be a way of extending fertility. So all the signs of aging that might be coming down the road, getting them to come later, at a later age. So that would be the approach for before you hit perimenopause. And then once you get to perimenopause, which can, by the way, last for 10 to 15 years before menopause, so we want to make sure that we know how to manage it so that it's comfortable and easy. In perimenopause, here's what I like to do. Replenish everything. If you can go into actual menopause with all your energies replenished instead of depleted, oh, you will have so much of an easier time. It will enhance fertility and regulate your cycle during menopause. It's especially important for women who maybe burn the candle at both ends or got depleted after a very stressful time in their lives, or an event, like giving birth or giving birth multiple times, blood loss, a serious illness or injury, something where maybe you didn't fully replenish your energy afterwards. Those are all things that can leave you somewhat depleted, and it can also be somewhat of a genetic thing that you just need extra help keeping your energies filled up. So some of the things you might notice during perimenopause that we would be working on evening out would be the first signs of heat. Often this shows up as night sweats during PMS. That's a common sign of early perimenopause. A harder time staying asleep. A shorter cycle. So instead of your period coming every 28 days, maybe it comes every 25 days, or maybe it comes every 21 days. So that would be another sign of perimenopause. And you might also have a harder time staying asleep. So a little bit of insomnia can start to kick in, and increased PMS symptoms also, whether it's mood swings or other PMS symptoms, can also show up at this time. And so natural treatments at this time, like I said, would be geared towards replenishing your energies and regulating your cycle, extending fertility, which will help you to feel better and regulate symptoms during perimenopause, and also set you up to avoid extreme symptoms during menopause, right? And to avoid some of what I consider one of the worst symptoms that can happen during perimenopause is really heavy bleeding that comes close together. And all this stuff that I like to work with natural remedies can help keep everything balanced so that is not a road that your body goes down during perimenopause before it stops bleeding. So replenishing blood, replenishing yin, replenishing qi, and replenishing yang, replenishing all your energies and regulating your energy by working to make sure that in Chinese medicine, your liver energy, that has a lot to do with regulating your cycle, is flowing really freely. So that's the approach during perimenopause. And then when we move into other versions of perimenopause, there are some women who don't get as many of the symptoms I mentioned before, but sometimes during perimenopause or early menopause, their biggest symptom is low libido. Sometimes that's the only symptom. It's like, wow, I feel fine, but all of a sudden, just leave me on the couch with my book, right? I'm perfectly happy. Where did it go? And sometimes this can be linked with weight gain. And I want to talk about low libido and weight gain. They are their own special little category during perimenopause or menopause or after menopause. And here's why. Low libido, weight gain, and weakening bones in Chinese medicine are all related to declining fire energy. Now, during menopause, the most common thing is you're feeling hot, you're having hot flashes. So if I come along and say, let's strengthen your fire, you are going to get hotter. So a lot of the things that increase libido, boost metabolism, and strengthen your bones can make other menopausal symptoms worse. So Chinese medicine has a really wonderful, special way of dealing with this type of scenario, and that is to replenish your watery energy first. Because if we replenish your watery energy first, then when we go to boost up your fire energy, there's enough water there to balance it out so that you're not going to get any hot symptoms or negative effects of that fire rolling around in your system. So it's a little tricky, but it totally works. And it's a really unique approach in Chinese medicine to this particular scenario in menopause that is great for your libido, great for your metabolism, and for keeping your bones strong. And I will say that a lot of the most common herbs that people use for menopause are mostly geared towards increasing what we would consider your water energy, which is good for hot flashes. That's the most common thing that women want during menopause. Those are not necessarily great for your fire energy. So they are going to help maybe with hot flashes, but not as much with low libido. So that's what I love Chinese medicine is it's so specific about what we're working on. All right, so that was low libido, weight loss, and bone loss. And now I want to talk about probably like the heart of menopause, which would be hot flashes and night sweats. So I call this the hot and sweating version of menopause. And I actually have two different herbal combinations that focus on this. One is called hot and sweating, and one is called ultimate hot and sweating. And these are women who are hot, often with lots of sweating, and that is their main symptom. They are more hot than anything else. Lots of hot flashes, night sweats, mood, cycle, other things are pretty much okay, but it's just hot, 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 hot. And Chinese medicine loves to treat this. It's so specific. And the trick is to, again, you're hot during menopause because you don't have enough water. The fire in your body is raging out of control. So we can clear away some of that fire, we can calm it down, but the true answer is to replenish your watery energy. And then that water naturally controls the fire. Because if you're hot and you just drain away your fire energy, you're just going to be draining away what we talked about before, your libido, your metabolism, and your strong bones. You don't want to get rid of the fire, really. I mean, maybe in the short term so you feel better, but the true answer is just to bring the water up to meet the fire, because then you're strong on both fronts. So that is how Chinese medicine works with the hot and sweating version of menopause. And then another version of menopause that I really want to talk about is the insomnia version of menopause, where having trouble sleeping is your main symptom, because this can happen so easily. It happens so often. And it is most typically a trouble staying asleep. Now, some women also have trouble falling asleep, especially if they had that kind of a problem before menopause. But most typically the part that comes with menopause is the staying asleep part. And Chinese medicine, again, has a really specific way of dealing with this. So a lot of the typical menopause symptoms like hot flashes, night sweats, right? These are related in Chinese medicine a lot to your kidney energy, your kidney water energy. But when you start getting into some true insomnia during menopause, it's related more to your heart and your liver. And so in addition to working with the kidney, which would be the typical herbs for menopause, we are going to address the heart and the liver energies. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with your heart or your liver, right? But we are going to address those energies in very specific ways unique to Chinese medicine to help you get that sleep during the middle of the night, sleep in longer stretches and stay asleep and have a better quality of sleep. So I love Chinese medicine for insomnia. It is really wonderful. And I wanted to make a quick note, just kind of insert this in the middle. This isn't the most common thing that happens during menopause, but some women, they have a serious problem with urinary tract infections, recurring urinary tract infections during menopause. So I know that as I'm going through all these different versions of menopause, some of you are going to be like, oh, that one's me, or this one's me, or gosh, I have 2 of those, or I have 3 of those combined, because that's really common too. But for those of you who are having issues with recurring UTIs, you are not alone, and this is something that Chinese medicine also loves to address. In Western medicine, they say that as estrogen declines, your vaginal tissues become less puffy. They become a little sort of dry, and so they're not puffy and, protecting the opening, right, of your ureter, and so bacteria can just kind of go in there more easily. So the Chinese medicine approach is to help the body clear any bacteria that are even thinking of getting on up in there and also replumping up those tissues. And I found that the herbal approach, in my experience and my practice, has been extremely effective in this and helping women get out of that cycle of recurrent UTIs. It's just absolutely fantastic. I love working with that. And then another version of menopause that I wanted to talk about is what I call the shedding pounds approach, because as your hormones change, your metabolism can be affected for sure. And a lot of women find that they gain weight during menopause. Even if they're eating the same, even if they're eating less, even if they're exercising more, it's like the weight is just showing up and never going away. And I find that the best ways to deal with this are by adjusting the brain chemistry and the hormones and the metabolism. It does not tend to be about just starving yourself or eating less or exercising like crazy. In fact, those can be counterproductive in this situation and lead to a lot of frustration. So again, the Chinese medicine has a very wonderful approach to helping women to have their bodies naturally find their ideal weight, even during menopause and after menopause, by balancing brain chemistry and cravings and metabolism. And we talked earlier about how part of that is boosting up your fire energy, because your metabolism is a fire. It's burning calories. And to be able to really strengthen that fire, you want to be able to strengthen your water energy first, so that when you bring the fire up, the fire is balanced by the water and the fire is not raging out of control. It's just doing what it's supposed to be doing. So, okay, this is a lot of information, I know. I just want to keep going because I know as I go through these different versions of menopause, some of you are going to be like, oh, that one's me, or she hasn't talked about mine yet. And if I haven't talked about your version of menopause, please feel free to post in the comments, write a comment below this video, send me an email. I'd be happy to talk to you about that. But there's just a few more that I want to cover. Again, I'm Dana LaVoie, an acupuncturist and herbalist who specializes in women's health and helping women through menopause naturally. And I'm talking about what in Chinese medicine are the differentiations of menopause. So the different versions of menopause, the different underlying imbalances that can happen during menopause that cause symptoms. Because I love helping women find natural remedies that are specific to their differentiation, because they work so well. It's not like I don't find that it's a particularly one-size-fits-all kind of remedy approach. So a few more versions of menopause that I wanted to talk about. One is what I call a treatment aimed at sugar support. So for women who are having issues with maybe they're getting inflammation, uneven blood sugar's kind of creeping up, their doctor's talking to them about being, maybe like pre-diabetic or insulin resistance, and it's not that they're eating so badly, but their body's just not handling sugar metabolism well. There are some specific natural remedies that I like to use with that in terms of what you eat and when you eat, and supplements that can help the body get back on track with having a healthy relationship with sugar metabolism, so that the sugar is used efficiently and released into the cells and into the bloodstream in a nice, even way. And another version of menopause that I put in its own category is I've created a special herbal combination for this category, for all these categories actually, but this one I call the Survivor Pack, and it is a special combination that I've created for women who are survivors of cancer or who have a genetic or family history situation that they feel puts them at high risk, or they have something, fibrocystic situation or something that they feel puts them at high risk, maybe for cancer. So I just feel that this approach helps to support your own immune system, support your body's estrogen metabolism and detoxification, and just help in every way to maybe tip the odds in your favor in terms of staying healthy, and to support hormonal balance with menopause without using anything that could even potentially be considered problematic in terms of being estrogenic, even though there is a lot of evidence these days that estrogenic herbs are safe. But this is a survivor pack that I've put together specifically that I just absolutely love. And then the last category, which has some subcategories, but the last category that I want to talk about is one that I really, really love. And this is postmenopause. So you might not know this, but perimenopause is where you start out when your hormones start to change, when your cycle starts to change, and it can last 10 to 15 years before you actually hit menopause. You hit menopause when you have not had a cycle for 12 consecutive months. That's when you're officially menopausal. And then when your hormones even out on the other side of that transition, you're postmenopausal, and you stay postmenopausal for the rest of your life. So you're never completely out of this genre that we're talking about. And I love working with women on what they can do from a women's health perspective to stay healthy and happy and juicy and vibrant and strong after menopause, because there's so much you can do. And so I have a few different versions of that I like to work with. One I just call strong, and it's focusing on bones, on increasing the bone matrix, the density and the mass of the bones, strengthening the marrow and the discs, and also involves sort of protective and supportive herbs for the cardiovascular system, antioxidants, balancing the immune system, so regulating all the hormonal mechanisms. So it's just a really all-around supportive and protective approach that focuses on bones, on the skeletal structure, the discs, the tendons, and the ligaments, especially the low back and the knees, but also great for the shoulders and the whole spine. So that is one approach that I love for women to take postmenopausally. And another one is what I call the minimalist approach. If you've come out the other side of menopause, your hormones have balanced themselves out, you're not having any hot flashes or symptoms, you're just feeling great. I still find that even just one formula that tonifies what we call all three treasures with adaptogenic herbs that are very balanced, that tonifies yin and yang, and that's very regulating and protecting, helps your body regulate systems, helps you handle stress, helps your body's protective mechanisms to be stronger. I find that this kind of support is just wonderful and has a wonderful anti-aging kind of feel to it. And then the other approach that I like to take for some women postmenopausally is what I call the anti-aging and beauty approach, because there are some incredible herbs in Chinese medicine and techniques, facial massage and facial gua sha, and some special substances that they use to promote beauty, to prevent sagging of the skin and wrinkling of the skin and discoloration of the skin, and all, to promote beautiful hair, purity of the skin, translucence, all those types of things. And the beauty of it is that these herbs are also absolutely wonderful for strengthening your health as well. You can totally get the double benefit from the herbs that are good for beauty. And the last thing that I want to talk about, not exactly as its own category, though it can be, but as something that applies to every category, is managing stress. I find that having good techniques, or at least one good technique that you like for stress reduction that you practice regularly, is one of the best things you can do. Learn it before menopause or during perimenopause and practice it all the way through, and it will be so helpful. It will serve you so well. It can be some deep breathing, it can be some Tai Chi, it can be a little bit of meditation. There are so many things you can do, but having that and doing it regularly is really important. And there are also some different, acupressure practices you can do, and certainly herbs and supplements as well that promote relaxation and happiness and peacefulness. And so those are things that are woven throughout all of the different versions of menopause when I approach them, because during menopause it's very likely for stress levels and anxiety levels to increase. The chemicals in your body that cushion your nerve endings and protect you from stress tend to decrease. Those linings, that cushion between you and the stress, the stress in your nerves, the cushion between those, it gets kind of thinner. So you need to work a little harder on keeping it strong, but also being in a better place when stress does hit, whether it's your deep breathing, your relaxation, having your anti-stress chemicals flowing through your body. It's really helpful to put a little extra effort in that towards in every way that you're approaching treating menopause naturally. So this was maybe more information than you wanted. Hopefully some of you information, addicts out there will enjoy listening to all these different versions of menopause. Some of them will recognize yourself in some of them. Now, obviously, I couldn't cover everything in just a half an hour video like this, but I did try to hit on a lot of the main points. And the beauty, again, of Chinese medicine is that it has a really specific ways of providing natural remedies for each different version of menopause, each different differentiation of menopause. And those involve diet, foods, diet habits, lifestyle techniques, all kinds of things that I teach on my blog. But they also have herbal combinations that are specific for these different differentiations of menopause. And in Asia, women know about this. They either know what herbs to take or they know an herbalist, and it's really easy for them to get access to these herbs, and they use them all through perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. And I wanted to find a way to make these customized herbal combinations that were matched up with a woman's differentiation available to more women. And so what I've done is I have created 17 different herbal combinations specifically for women from the beginning of perimenopause through postmenopause. And I've put them together into a little program that I have kept as easy and carefree and low cost as possible to really try to make this particular natural remedy for menopause available to more women. At the moment, it's available to anyone in the United States. And if you'd like to learn more about it, I'll put the link below this video to the page on my website where I talk about it. And right on that page, I'm going to post this below the video also. What you can do is you can just jump on my schedule for a free 15-minute discovery call, and we can talk a little bit about whether herbs would be right for you. I often recommend that women start with diet and lifestyle, and if that's enough to get all your symptoms under control, great. But if you want a little extra anti-aging or protection benefit, or you need something else to get rid of the symptoms, then the herbs are my absolute favorite thing to bring in next. And so I'm really excited about sharing them with more women. So I'm Dana LaVoie, and I am an acupuncturist and herbalist who specializes in helping women through menopause. I hope this wasn't just too much information and too geeky, because I know when I start talking about this stuff, it's hard for me to stop because I just love it so much. When I first started working with women who were in menopause in my practice, I remember just being blown away by how much, and this was 15 years ago, by how much they were suffering, by how little help they were getting anywhere else from their doctor or anything, and how much the Chinese medicine could help to ease their way and help relieve their symptoms. And so over the years, this is what I've been doing over and over, and I was like, gosh, how can I help even more women with this? And so here I am sharing this information with you guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. I would love to hear your comments and questions. What made sense, what you understood, what needed a little more explanation first. So remember to either jump on a free call with me. You can schedule that below. Or if you just want to get started with my favorite diet, lifestyle, and supplement tips for menopause. I'm going to post a link below where you can download a free guide I've created that will help you get started on my top tips, my top tip in diet, my top tip in lifestyle, and my top tip in supplements. It's a great way to get started. It's totally free. I'll put the link below where you can download it. And again, hit like, please share this video with friends, sisters, coworkers, relatives that you think would enjoy it. I'm really loving getting this information out. And yeah, oh, and I also posted a question below this video. What time would you guys like these live videos to be? Because I'm here for you to give information, to answer questions. I was thinking this might be a nice time. I started at 5:30 Pacific time on a Wednesday. 6:30 might be better. Let me know. Would morning be better for you guys? Let me know what time would be best for you guys. I hope to see you next week live because I am answering one of my most commonly asked questions of all time, which is how to get more sleep during menopause. I've been sitting on this question for a while, gathering a ton of great information, and I cannot wait to share it with you live next week. So any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, have a great rest of your night, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.